Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, it's going to be just Lily and me talking about something pretty exciting, or maybe even intense, that we've gone through recently. We decided to spend the last 3 months learning English. Like, really learning it. Not just casually, but diving in every day with a plan.
Yeah, it's been a wild journey. And today we're going to share with you what actually happened. The highs, the lows, and some surprising moments along the way.
Definitely, and it's not just for those learning English. There's a lot here that anyone tackling a new language can relate to. So, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this episode, and let us know in the comments. What is your obstacle to learn English?
Plus, we've got a helpful PDF in the description with all the resources we used. Tips we wish we'd known from day one and a few extra notes. So check that out too.
So, let's start from day one. I remember feeling so motivated. But of course, reality hit pretty quickly.
Haha, yes, same here. I think so many people can relate. We go into it like, yes, I'm going to crush this. And then day 2, we're already realizing it's going to be way harder than expected. I was feeling like I'd never get the hang of it.
Right. And that's the thing. I think we both realized early on that learning a language isn't just about memorizing words. You have to practice, make mistakes, sound weird at times, and be okay with all of it.
Exactly. And we learned so much through trial and error. I think one of the biggest early challenges was pronunciation. English has so many sounds that don't exist in our native language, so even basic words took me a few tries to say right. There were some funny moments, like when I tried to say thoroughly and ended up saying, well, something totally different.
Oh, that word tripped me up too. And don't even get me started on squirrel. I feel like I still don't say it right half the time. Anyone else learning English? If you've got trouble with squirrel, you're not alone.
Yeah, it's humbling, honestly. But that's part of the experience. Making these funny little mistakes kept things lighthearted.
Totally. And I think another thing we both realized was that learning isn't linear. Some days, I felt like, yes, I'm finally getting it. And then the next day, it was like I forgot everything I'd learned.
I know, I was the same. Some days, I was in the flow, feeling all confident. And the next day, gone. But I read somewhere that's just part of the learning curve. You learn, then you sort of forget, and then you learn it again even better. So, if anyone out there is feeling stuck, just keep going. Progress is happening, even if it doesn't always feel like it.
That's a good point. And something else we should mention is mindset. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but having the right mindset changes everything. Learning English isn't easy, and it can be frustrating. I had moments where I thought, what's the point? This is too hard.
Same. But mindset kept me going. Instead of thinking, I have to be perfect, I started thinking, hey, I'm trying. That's what matters. And guess what? That took so much pressure off.
Yes. And if you're putting yourself down for not being perfect, you're probably going to give up way sooner. One thing that really helped was setting small goals. Instead of focusing on perfection, we focused on just improving a little bit every day.
Definitely. And now, looking back over 3 months, we can see so much progress. It might not be as obvious day to day, but when you take a step back, you see all those little improvements add up.
And speaking of progress, we'd love to hear about your own language journey. So comment down below and let us know where you're at. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this chat. We've got more to come on language learning.
So, one thing I found really helpful was watching movies and shows in English. At first, I watched with subtitles in my own language, but after a while, I switched to English subtitles.
It was tough at first, but it actually helped a lot with listening and understanding different accents. Yes, that's such a good point. I did the same. I'd recommend everyone try watching something you love, maybe something you already know well, but in English. It made a huge difference for me, especially with how native speakers really talk.
Right? It's so different from textbook English. They use slang, contractions, All these little expressions you don't usually learn. Like the what's up instead of how are you? I think I started feeling more comfortable with English once I understood those little things.
Absolutely. And another thing that helped me was keeping a journal in English. I didn't write long essays or anything, just a few sentences about my day or something I learned that day. It got me used to thinking in English.
Oh, that's a great tip. I did something similar. And it's funny how writing things down actually helped me remember vocabulary better. If you just read or hear new words, you might forget them, but when you write them, they stick.
Exactly. And again, these are all small things, but they make such a big impact over time. If you're just starting out or struggling, remember, it's the little steps that count. Here's an extended tips section to add before the closing.
Before we wrap up, here are some final tips we found really helpful. First, practice daily, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Consistency really does make a difference over time. And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's one of the best ways to learn.
Yes, and find a language buddy if you can. It doesn't have to be a formal thing, maybe just someone you chat with casually in English. It helps so much with confidence and keeps you motivated. Also, keeping a small journal or diary can really help. Write down a few sentences about your day or new words you learned. It's a great way to track progress.
Another big one is immersion. Try to surround yourself with English as much as you can, whether that's listening to music, watching movies, or following social media in English. Every little bit adds up. And don't forget to reward yourself for small wins. Learning a language is a long journey, so celebrate those moments when you feel like you're improving.
Great advice, Lily. And if you're struggling, don't be too hard on yourself. Everyone learns at their own pace. We've got even more resources in the PDF linked in the description, so be sure to check that out.
And we're here to cheer you on. Let us know in the comments what's been working for you, or if you've got any fun stories from learning English. And make sure you hit that like button if you're finding this helpful. It really does support the channel.
And don't forget about that PDF in the description. We put all our best tips and resources in there to make your English learning journey a little easier.